I used to believe ghosts belonged to places. Old houses, old hospitals, old cemeteries. I believed if you left the location, you left the problem. I learned the truth in a slow, humiliating way. Some things do not haunt places. Some things attach to families. And once they decide you belong to them, they do not let go. Not when you move, not when you change locks, not when you start over in a new city. They stay close. They follow. They wait. And if they cannot hold you forever, they move into your children. My name is Ethan. I grew up in a normal neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. Nothing special, nothing dramatic. My wife, Mara, and I met in our mid-20s. We got married, we worked, we saved. We bought a small 2-story house in a quiet subdivision. We were careful people. We did not mess with occult stuff. We did not play with haunted apps. We did not go looking for trouble. Trouble came anyway. It began with my mother. She lived alone after my dad passed. She kept his tools in the garage like he would come back for them. She spoke to his picture sometimes. One winter, she called me at night and whispered into the phone, "Someone is in my kitchen." I drove over. Her kitchen was empty. No broken window, no open door. I checked the locks, checked the backyard, checked the garage. Nothing. But my mother did not look relieved. She looked ashamed, like she had confessed something. She told me she had been hearing a sound for weeks. A slow tap, then a second tap, like a fingernail on glass. She said it always happened after midnight. She said it always came from the hallway. I asked her if she was sleeping okay. She said she was fine, but her eyes said she was lying. Before I left, she grabbed my wrist and held it hard. "If it starts in your house," she said, "do not pretend it is nothing." I laughed softly. Not because it was funny, because I didn't know what else to do. 2 weeks later, my mother was found on her living room floor. A stroke. She survived, but she never walked the same again. And after that, she stopped talking about the hallway. Not because it stopped, because she was afraid of saying it out loud. Mara and I had our first child that year, a daughter named Ellie. We bought a baby monitor with a camera, nothing fancy, a basic one. It sat on a shelf in the nursery and watched the crib. The first week was normal, night feeding, short sleep, long days. Then the audio started glitching. A brief hiss, a thin crackle, a tiny sound like breath. Mara told me it was interference. I agreed because it was easier. One night, at 2:11 a.m., the screen lit up on my phone. The nursery camera was live. Ellie was asleep. The room was dark except for the nightlight. Everything looked normal. Then the camera shifted, just slightly, like someone had touched it. I sat up in bed. I watched the feed. I expected to see Mara walking in there, but Mara was next to me, asleep. The camera shifted again, and for half a second, I saw a shape near the closet. Not a person, not a shadow from the window, a darker area inside the darkness, like the room had a stain. I stared until my eyes burned. Then the feed froze. Then it went black. Not a normal disconnect, not a loading screen. Black. I went into the nursery with my phone light on. The closet was closed. The window was locked. Ellie slept peacefully. I stood there for a long time, listening to the quiet. I heard a tiny sound behind me, a slow tap, then another, like a fingernail against the nursery door frame. I turned fast. Nothing. But the air felt wrong. Not cold, just heavy, like something was standing too close. After that, the weirdness became predictable. That is how it works. It makes itself normal. A sound, a glitch, a shadow. You tell yourself it is a small thing, so you can keep living. Then you realize it is not small. It is training you. The first time it showed up on video, it happened on a Saturday. Mara and I were cleaning. Ellie was napping. I installed a small indoor camera in the living room, not for ghosts, for security. We had a porch theft problem in our area. That night, after we went to bed, I checked the footage. Just routine. At 1:14 a.m., the living room camera activated motion recording. The room was empty. Then the camera timestamp jittered. The image blurred, and a figure crossed the frame. Not fast, not slow. Wrong. It moved like it was skipping through frames, like an old movie reel. A tall outline, too thin, head slightly tilted. It passed the staircase, then stopped. It turned toward the camera. The lens fogged, like breath on glass. Then the screen went grainy, and the recording ended. The next clip started 30 seconds later. The room was empty again. I sat there, replaying it, feeling my throat tighten. Mara woke up and asked what I was doing. I showed her. Her face went flat. Not shocked, not confused. Flat. That scared me more. She whispered, "It's back." I asked what she meant. She told me something she had never told me before. When she was a kid, she lived with her grandmother for a year. Her grandmother believed their family was followed. Mara said her grandmother used to cover mirrors at night. She used to salt windowsills. She used to say certain names out loud like they were prayers. Mara said she hadn't thought about it in years, until our baby monitor started breathing. The haunting did not begin with screaming or flying objects. It began with our bodies. I started waking up with bruises, small ones, like finger marks on my arms. Mara started getting headaches that came in waves, not migraines, pressure. Ellie developed a rash that doctors could not explain. It would appear, fade, and reappear in a slightly different pattern. We took her to pediatric appointments. Normal blood work, normal vitals, no answers. We told ourselves it was stress. Then we noticed the timing. Every time the cameras glitched, one of us got sick within 24 hours. Every time the baby monitor hissed, Mara woke up with a stiff neck, like she had been held in place all night. We started sleeping with lights on. We started keeping the TV low for background noise. We started living like people who were afraid of silence. And the thing learned that. It learned where our attention went. It learned what made us react. It learned how to feed. Ellie was 2 when she first spoke about it. She was in her room, playing with blocks. Mara was in the hallway folding laundry. Ellie looked up at the corner near the closet and said, softly, "Don't touch me." Mara froze. She asked Ellie who she was talking to. Ellie did not look at Mara. She kept staring at the corner. She said, "He's tired of you. He likes me better." Mara's hands began shaking. She walked into the room, picked Ellie up, and backed out like the air could bite. That night, the baby monitor showed something new. Not a shadow, not a blur. A hand. Long fingers. Too long. Resting on the crib rail from the outside, like someone was leaning in. Then the hand slid away, slow, like it was savoring the moment. I ran into the nursery. No one there, no broken window, no open closet. But I saw something on the crib rail, a faint smear, like ash. We did what people always do. We moved. We broke the lease early. We packed fast. We told friends it was for a better school district and more space. We bought a newer home across town. Fresh paint, clean walls, bright windows. No history we could find. The first night felt safe. We sat in the new living room and tried to laugh. We tried to talk like normal parents, like normal adults. At 1:14 a.m., the power blinked. Just once. Not a full outage, a blink. And every device in the house reset. The baby monitor rebooted. When it came back online, the screen showed Ellie's room. The angle was wrong. The camera was mounted above the crib, but the feed looked like it was coming from inside the closet, staring out. Mara covered her mouth. I went to Ellie's room. The camera was still mounted correctly. The closet door was closed. I opened the closet. Nothing inside except clothes. Then the baby monitor speaker in my hand whispered a word. One word. Mine. Whew. I dropped it like it was hot. We told ourselves we would not have another baby until this stopped. We said it out loud, like the house could hear us. A year later, Mara got pregnant anyway. We tried to be happy. We tried to make it normal. But the thing reacted. Mara's morning sickness became severe. She lost weight. She bruised easily. She said her bones hurt. Doctors blamed hormones, stress, work. They gave advice that didn't fit what we were living. Then the recording started changing again. Our doorbell camera began capturing motion at empty hours. A figure would stand at the end of our driveway, not moving, not walking up, just standing, facing the house. And every time the clip started, the camera's audio would distort, like someone was whispering directly into the mic. We could not make out words, but we could hear emotion, anger, possession. Mara stopped watching the footage. I kept watching because I needed to know. One night, I zoomed in on the driveway figure. The image pixelated. The figure's head lifted slightly, and I saw a detail that made my stomach turn. It was wearing something around its neck. A thin chain with a small metal cross. Not shiny, burned, like it had been in a fire. I thought about my mother's hallway. I thought about Mara's grandmother and her covered mirrors. I thought about the ash on Ellie's crib rail. And I realized something that should have been obvious. This thing was not tied to a house. It was tied to a bloodline. And now Mara was carrying a new piece of that bloodline. Our son was born in late October. We named him Noah. He came home healthy. We tried to breathe again. We set up 2 cameras now, one in Ellie's room, one in Noah's nursery. We kept the monitors on beside our bed. The first week was quiet. Then, on the 8th night, at 1:14 a.m., both monitors activated at once. Ellie's room showed her asleep. Noah's room showed his crib. Then the audio started. A lullaby. Not from a speaker, not from a phone, not from a TV. A thin humming. Off-key. Old. It sounded like someone who never learned to sing, but did it anyway. Mara sat up, sweating. She whispered, "That's my grandmother's song." I asked what she meant. She said her grandmother used to hum that exact melody while covering mirrors. Then the camera feed in Noah's nursery darkened. Not like the lights went out, like the darkness thickened. A shape leaned over the crib. No face visible, just a silhouette bending too far, like its spine didn't work the way ours does. Noah stirred. The silhouette paused. Then the baby monitor volume surged by itself, blasting a sound that punched my ears. A single knock. From inside the nursery. Mara screamed. I ran. When I reached the nursery, Noah was awake, crying. The room was normal, but the closet door was open. We never left it open. Inside the closet, hanging among the baby clothes, was something that did not belong. A small burned cross on a chain, swaying gently, like it had just been placed there. After that night, we made a rule. We did not talk about it inside the house. We used to whisper, "It will hear us." Then we stopped whispering and just stayed silent. That silence was not safety. It was permission. The thing grew bolder. It began appearing closer on the doorbell camera, on the porch, near the windows. Sometimes just a dark outline, sometimes a faint suggestion of features. It began leaving marks. A thin scratch on a cabinet, a smear of ash on a windowsill, a damp handprint on the baby monitor lens. And the illness stayed. Mara's joints hurt. My chest felt tight at night, like someone sat on me. Ellie began having nightmares about a man standing in our hallway. Noah, even as a baby, would stare at corners like he was tracking something moving too slowly for us to notice. And then, one day, Ellie said the most frightening thing I have ever heard. She said it with the calmness of a child stating a fact. "He's teaching Noah." Mara asked, "Teaching him what?" Ellie stared at the ceiling and said, "How to stay." We moved again. This time we left the state. We chose a town outside Raleigh, North Carolina. New neighborhood, new schools, new jobs. We told ourselves distance would break it. The first night in the rental house, we left no cameras up. We left no monitors running. We wanted one night with no screens. At 1:14 a.m., Mara woke up coughing. Dry cough, like smoke in her throat. I sat up and smelled it too. A faint, burnt smell. Not strong, just enough to trigger memory. Then we heard it. Footsteps. Not upstairs. There was no upstairs. Footsteps in the hallway outside our bedroom. Slow, heavy, measured. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Mara grabbed my arm. We stayed still. The footsteps stopped outside Noah's room. Then we heard a soft sound, like a fingernail on wood. Tap, tap. Then Ellie's voice came from her room. She was awake. She said quietly, "He found us." People ask, what did it want? I can only answer with what I learned the hard way. It did not want to scare us once. It wanted to change the shape of our lives. It wanted to consume our sleep. It wanted to consume our health. It wanted to consume our peace. It wanted our home to feel temporary, our bodies to feel fragile, our future to feel impossible. Because when you live like that, you stop living forward. You live in survival. And survival makes you small, small enough to keep. And the worst part is this. It did not only want Mara and me, it wanted our children. Not to kill them, to claim them, to carry itself into the next generation. One night in North Carolina, we finally set up a camera again. We needed proof. We needed something to show a doctor, a priest, anyone. At 1:14 a.m., Noah's baby monitor activated. The room was dim. Noah stood in his crib, awake, silent, staring at the corner near the closet. He was too young to stand that steady. It looked practiced. Then he lifted his hand, slowly, like he was waving at someone. Something moved in the corner, not visible clearly, just a distortion, a ripple. Noah smiled. It was not a baby's smile. It was a careful smile. Then he said a word he had never said before. Stay. The monitor microphone crackled, and from the speaker, under Noah's voice, another voice layered in. Older, dry, close. It said the same word. Stay. Mara started crying without making sound. I turned off the monitor. We sat in the dark and listened to our house breathe. We tried everything. We contacted a local pastor. He came to the house, prayed, left quickly. We contacted a paranormal team. They wanted to film it like a show. We refused. We contacted a counselor for Mara because fear was eating her. We tried salt, we tried sage, we tried sleeping in the living room together. Nothing lasted. Because the thing did not live in the walls. It lived in the space between us, in our exhaustion, in our pain, in our arguments. In the moment you look at your spouse and realize you are both drowning. Then, one afternoon, my aunt called me. I had not spoken to her in years. She said she heard my mother had died recently. She said she was sorry. Then she hesitated and asked, "Did Mom ever tell you about the fire?" I felt my body go cold. I asked, "What fire?" My aunt said, "When my mother was young, there was a house fire in the family. A cousin died. A man survived. A man who blamed the family. A man who swore something over them before he disappeared." My aunt said my grandmother believed the family was marked. And she said something else, very quietly. "It doesn't haunt houses. It haunts births." The last time we saw it clearly, it was on a baby monitor. Noah was 3 by then. Ellie was 5. We lived in yet another house, smaller, temporary, because we stopped believing in permanent. At 1:14 a.m., Noah's monitor activated. The camera showed him asleep. Then the closet door began to open, slowly. No hand visible, just the door moving like something breathed against it. It opened wide enough to show darkness inside. Then a shape stepped forward. Tall, thin, shoulders too narrow, head tilted. No face, just a suggestion of where a face should be. It leaned down toward Noah's bed, not touching him, just hovering, close. The audio captured a sound like a dry inhale. Then the shape turned toward the camera, and for the first time, it gave us something clear. A message. Not words. A shape in the darkness that formed a familiar pattern. A burned cross on a chain, hanging where a throat would be. Then the monitor froze. Then it played audio only. 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Then a whisper, close to the mic. Family. People want endings where the family wins. They want the curse broken. They want the entity trapped. I do not have that ending. I have a different kind of ending. We stopped running. We stopped buying houses. We stopped believing a new address would save us. We focused on one thing, keeping our children aware. Not terrified, aware. We taught Ellie and Noah rules, simple rules. Do not talk to voices from monitors. Do not follow a shadow into a dark room. Do not answer knocks at night. Do not open closets when you feel watched. We taught them that fear is not the same as obedience. We taught them that if something says stay, they can say no. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the house goes quiet for weeks. Then a night comes when the air thickens again. And at 1:14 a.m., the cameras glitch, the monitors hiss, and a figure stands in a corner that was empty 5 seconds ago. Not fully visible, not fully invisible, just enough to remind us, it is still here, it is still attached, and it is patient. Because it does not need to win tonight. It only needs to remain long enough to become normal to the next generation. 2 months ago, Ellie woke me up at night. She stood in our bedroom doorway, pale, calm, too quiet. I asked what was wrong. She pointed toward the hallway. "He's with Noah." I rushed to Noah's room. He was standing by his bed, facing the closet. The closet was open, dark inside. Noah's lips moved. He was whispering something. I listened closely. He was repeating the same word over and over. Not loud, not scared, practiced. Stay, stay, stay. I grabbed him, pulled him back, shut the closet door hard. Noah started crying, like I had broken something he needed. Then the baby monitor on the dresser turned on by itself. The screen showed Noah's room from a wrong angle again, from inside the closet, watching us. The speaker crackled. Then the whisper came through. Older, dry, close. One word. Soon. And that was the moment I understood something I wish I never learned. This thing is not rushing. It is not hunting like an animal. It is raising itself inside my family, like a parasite teaching the host's children to accept it. And if I ever make the mistake of treating it like background noise, it will not need to scare my children. They will welcome it. And when they have children of their own, it will already be waiting. I installed the Ring camera because my wife felt uneasy at night. We had just moved into a small 2-story house in a quiet American suburb. Tree-lined streets, identical mailboxes, porch lights that turned on automatically at dusk. Nothing about the neighborhood felt dangerous. That's what made everything worse later. The camera faced our front porch. It captured the door, the welcome mat, the driveway, and a small section of the sidewalk. Motion alerts were rare. A cat, a passing car, occasionally a delivery. Until the first night it recorded someone who wasn't there. The notification came at 2:11 a.m. Motion detected. Front door. I woke up to the buzz on my phone and assumed it was a raccoon or a stray cat. I didn't even sit up at first. I opened the app. The live feed showed our porch. Empty. The light was on. The door was closed. The mat was undisturbed. No movement. But the timeline showed a recorded clip. I played it. The porch light flicked on. Then, something moved. Not fast, not sudden. A shape stepped into frame from the left. Human height. Standing where someone would stand before knocking. But the details were wrong. There was no clear face, no clothes, just a darker outline against the porch light. The figure stood perfectly still for 7 seconds. Then the audio picked up something. A faint sound. Not a knock, not breathing. A soft scraping noise, like fingers dragging lightly across wood. Then the figure stepped backward and vanished. The porch was empty again. No doorbell, no knock, nothing. I got out of bed and went downstairs. The house was silent. No creaks, no movement. I opened the front door slowly. The porch was empty. The mat hadn't moved. No footprints, no marks. I checked the camera again. The motion marker was still there. The recording was real. I locked the door and went back upstairs. I did not wake my wife. The second alert came the next night. 2:13 a.m. Motion detected. Front door. I opened the app immediately. The porch light was already on. Something was already standing there. Closer this time. Right in front of the door. The camera struggled to focus. The figure's shape blurred slightly, like the sensor couldn't decide what it was seeing. The head was tilted. Too far. Like someone staring at the door without eyes. The audio crackled. Then came a sound that made my chest tighten. A slow exhale. Long. Dry, as if something was breathing through a narrow opening. Then the clip ended. The next morning, my wife said something I hadn't told her yet. "Did you hear the doorbell last night?" I looked at her. "What time?" She thought for a moment. "A little after 2. I felt my stomach drop. I checked the app. No doorbell press, no chime, only motion. The camera recorded the figure lifting its arm, stopping inches from the button, then lowering it, like it was deciding something. By the fourth night, I was awake before the alert. 2:10 a.m. I stared at my phone, waiting. 2:11. Nothing. 2:12. The porch light turned on by itself. No alert, no notification. I opened the app manually. The live feed showed the porch, empty. Then the camera glitched. For half a second, the image froze. Then something appeared. Not walking in, already there. Standing so close to the door that only part of it fit in frame. The audio spiked. A whisper. Not words, not language. Just the sound of something trying to speak without knowing how. The figure leaned closer. The camera lens distorted around where its face should have been. Then the feed cut out. The next morning, the app showed a saved clip. Motion detected. Front door. Time, 2:14 a.m. I hadn't heard a knock. The video showed the figure raising its hand and knocking. Once. Twice. 3 times. Slow, heavy, deliberate. The sound was clear, wood on wood, but there was no doorbell alert, no sound inside the house, just the recording. The knock only existed on the camera. After that night, the alerts became inconsistent. Sometimes the porch light turned on with no motion detected. Sometimes the app showed recordings with missing seconds, gaps, like something was happening that the camera refused to store. One clip showed the porch empty. Then, in the next frame, the welcome mat was turned upside down. No movement recorded, no transition, just changed. By the 7th night, the figure didn't stand still anymore. It paced, back and forth, just outside the camera's main field of view. Only parts of it appeared at the edges, a shoulder, an arm, a shadow where a face should be. The audio captured dragging sounds, fingertips along siding, along the door frame, along the camera housing itself. Then something new. The figure looked up, directly into the camera. The lens fogged for a moment, like warm breath against glass. On the 9th night, the app glitched again. Instead of a motion alert, I received a text notification. New activity. But it wasn't a video. It was a still image. The porch, the door, and something written across the door. Not physically there, only visible on the recording. Letters formed from shadow, uneven, child height. Let me in. I checked the door immediately. Nothing was written. The wood was clean. The message existed only on the camera. I unplugged the Ring camera the next morning, covered it with a cloth. That night, there were no alerts, no porch light, no recordings. At 2:14 a.m., we heard the knock, inside the house, on the bedroom door, 3 times, slow, heavy, deliberate. I did not open it. We moved out 2 weeks later. The new owners installed their own camera. I didn't tell them anything. Last week, I checked my old Ring account. There was one final recording. Timestamp, 2:14 a.m. The video showed the porch of our new apartment, a place where we never installed a camera. The angle was wrong, too high, looking down, like from the ceiling. The audio captured one sound, 3 slow knocks, then silence. The camera didn't record it anymore, because it didn't need to. It already knew where we lived.